where rivers meet and industry rose, where it all begins. The Three Rivers. Downtown Pittsburgh's story begins at one of North America's most important and symbolic meeting points, the confluence of the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers, which together form the Ohio River. This natural triangle of water would shape the destiny of a city, both in geography and in power. Before steel, skyscrapers, and sports, there was strategy. For thousands of years, Native American tribes such as the Shawnee, Lenape, Delaware, and Seneca used this confluence as a travel and trade route. In the mid-1700s, this strategic location caught the eye of two major powers, France and Great Britain. Forts, wars, and a birthplace, 1754 to 1800. The first permanent European structure at the site was the French-built Fort Duquesne, erected in 1754. It stood where Point State Park is today. But during the French and Indian War, the British wanted control. In 1758, they captured the site, destroyed Fort Duquesne, and built Fort Pitt, named in honor of British Prime Minister William Pitt. This event marked the birth of Pittsburgh. Over time, a small settlement grew outside the fort's walls. This settlement, laid out formally in the 1780s, became the downtown Pittsburgh we know today. In 1816, it was officially incorporated as a city. The Smoky City rises, 1800 to 1900. As America grew westward, Pittsburgh became the gateway to the frontier. Its location on three rivers made it a hub for boat building, trade, and industry. By the mid-1800s, it evolved into one of the most important manufacturing centers in the country. Then came coal and iron, and, soon after, steel. In the second half of the 19th century, Pittsburgh's downtown became the epicenter of the American steel industry. Industrial titans like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Clay Frick, and George Westinghouse transformed Pittsburgh into a global powerhouse. Downtown Pittsburgh boomed. The city was filled with smoke and soot, earning it the nickname the Smoky City, but it was also bursting with life, labor, and innovation. Immigrants from Italy, Germany, Poland, Ireland, and Eastern Europe arrived in waves to work in steel mills and live in the city's crowded neighborhoods. Banks, railroads, and manufacturers built grand buildings downtown. By 1900, Pittsburgh was one of the wealthiest cities in the world, and one of the dirtiest. Disaster and rebirth. The Great Fire and Urban Shift. Not all of Pittsburgh's growth came without cost. On April 10, 1845, a devastating fire swept through downtown, destroying more than 1,000 buildings. Yet the city quickly rebuilt, in brick, iron, and stone this time, and this disaster marked the beginning of modern downtown Pittsburgh architecture. As the 20th century dawned, the city entered a period of cultural refinement. Grand theaters, libraries, churches, and parks were built downtown. But still, steel and smoke defined the air. Renaissance 1 and 2, 1945 to 1980. By the mid-20th century, the city's pollution, overpopulation, and industrial decay were undeniable. Something had to change. And it did. Pittsburgh launched one of the first large-scale urban renewal projects in America, called Renaissance 1 in the 1950s. With leadership from Mayor David Lawrence and the Allegheny Conference on Community Development, downtown was cleaned up. Factories were pushed out, riverfronts were reclaimed, and green spaces like Point State Park were developed where Fort Pitt once stood. Later, Renaissance 2 in the 1970s aimed to modernize downtown even further, promoting high-rise construction, corporate headquarters, and the cultural district. The modern era, from steel to startups, 1980 to present. As steel faded in the late 20th century, Pittsburgh didn't die. It evolved. Downtown transformed from a manufacturing zone into a vibrant financial, educational, and technological hub. Medical institutions like UPMC, universities like Carnegie Mellon and Pitt, and tech companies including Google, Facebook, and Duolingo moved in and powered a new kind of economy. Today, downtown Pittsburgh is known for Point State Park, with its symbolic fountain and views of all three rivers. The Cultural District, home to theaters, galleries, and events. Iconic buildings like PPG Place, U.S. Steel Tower, and Fifth Avenue Place. Market Square, a revitalized pedestrian zone with cafes, nightlife, and history. A walkable, bike-friendly layout with light rail, the T, and riverside trails. Downtown Pittsburgh is no longer just the center of a city. It's a symbol of reinvention. A city of rivers, a heart of iron. Downtown Pittsburgh is a place where Native American trails became European forts, where coal became steel, and where industrial might transformed into innovation and culture. It is a city built at the meeting of rivers and shaped by the meeting of eras. Today, its skyline reflects both its historic grit and modern ambition. From soot to startups, from forges to festivals, downtown Pittsburgh is not just the heart of a city, but a mirror of America's journey. The Golden Triangle, where Pittsburgh began and where it continues to rise. If you enjoyed this journey through Pittsburgh's past, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that bring history to life. Until next time, stay curious.